Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. In the last talk we analyzed the three states of consciousness in relation to the self-realization. I am independent of any state. So I am nothing to do with the waking state and a dream state and a deep sleep state. I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a deep sleeper. At the same time, the states keep changing. I don't change at all. In fact, waking world came along with the waking world. If I ask who created the waking world, then we have a creator, and the creation, all that Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara of the waking world. When I go to dream state, says I am a dreamer and the dream world. And who created the dream world? As far as the dream subject is concerned, he says, hey, God created this whole dream world. In fact, some Acharya says dream world is created by God. But each dream world is different in each human being. Everybody dreams their own way. So the dream is a consciousness enlivening the mind, that mind which has the suppressions and oppressions of the waking world, which are called vasanas, provide the seed for the dream world. Same identical situation where the suppressions, the vasanas of all beings put together become a seed for the creation of the waking world. And we call that as a Maya, and Ishvara with a Maya Shakti created all that. In the same way, when I go to deep sleep state, Nidra Shakti, the sleep, the queen, the power of the sleep covers my real nature. That is, I am sleeping in the AC room, in a comfortable bed. All that is covered, and creating a dream world which is completely opposite of what the waking world, where it may be dark in the waking world, it may be bright in the dream world. I am with all the equipments I need. I may be blind in the waking world, I have my eyes in the dream world. So it can be contradiction to whatever it is, because whenever I create, I am the creator. Who is that I am? The conscious entity using the mind is creating the world, and that itself is the God. So conscious entity that I am using the local mind creating the total world, where the subject, as I enter into dream, I have my own mind different from the minds of all the spectators in my dream. Each one has their own tiny mind, and each one have their own bodies, and each one have their own intellectual judgments, and there are animals, plants, everything, all the 9 yards. All that is pervaded by the mind, my waking mind, because everything is happening in the mind only, in the waker's mind, not in the dreamer's mind. Dreamer's mind is perceiving through dream senses the objects in the dream world. It doesn't know anything about the waking world because it's covered. Once it is covered, this is called Vikshepa projection. So Nidra Shakti covers the truth, and that is essentially avarana, or means covering, and Vikshepa projection of the plurality. And for a dream subject, the plurality that is projected is a reality for him. When he is transacting in the world, he thinks that's real. Only the reality cannot be defined, therefore, based on either perceptibility, because he is perceiving the dream world objects, experienceability, so he is experiencing different things, or transactability, because he is transacting with the world there, he may be doing this, he may be doing that, and all that. So it has nothing to do with the reality. So one cannot say even in the waking state. This is what essentially Gaudapada talks about in the second chapter, Vaidatya Prakaranam, using the dream example that the Lord has provided to negate the reality to the world also. So it is called Ajativada. There is no creation, real creation from the point of Brahman. Don't say there is no creation at all. There is an apparent creation, because Gaudapada is apparently there to write the Mandukya Karika, so it is really enough to say that there is no real world. So the statement has to be real, at least in the transactional world. So what Ajativada really means, that means no creation. Ajati means no creation at all, is only from the point of absolute Brahman. In the relative sense, there is an apparent creation, but apparent creation is taken as a real creation for those who do not know that it is an apparent creation. Because there is a ignorance of the real state, that's why. So waker, the dream subject doesn't know that it's all in the waker's mind, because that is covered, and that's what he thinks is real. And dream subject can never know that the dream is only a dream, because to know that he needs to have a sharp intellect, a subtle intellect, and that subtle intellect or a discriminative intellect of what is real and what's not real. So dream subject can never know that dream is a dream, because he cannot develop that intellect required to analyze the problem. Somebody may say, this is not really real. Says, keep your Vedanta, first let me save myself from the tiger that is chasing me. It's really enough that I have to save. Therefore, a dream world cannot be eliminated by analysis. Only has to come into the waking state to say the dream world is not real. So how about the waking world? Waking world he can analyze, provided he has a discriminative intellect to analyze. So the whole universe, if there are millions of people, not many people are really interested even to sit down and analyze it, because it requires an intellectual analysis. To discover means removing the cover of the ignorance of who I am. And Vedanta provides, that's why Vedanta is a pramana. It provides a methodology in terms of examples of taking a waking state and a dream state and a deep sleep state that everybody experiences. That's called anubhava. And use a logic, yukti, to discover the truth that is indicated by the Vedanta. So that's why Shastra and then Yukti, then Anubhava. All three are required to analyze properly, because otherwise you accept whatever people say, oh, that must be true, because he is a great Mahatma, therefore it must be true. So what about your intellect? Lord has given you intellect to inquire if this Mahatma says is true or not. One has to inquire. So not the one has to accept as it is, one has to inquire. That's what the scriptural statement is. So therefore, I had to use inquiry, but how do I inquire is what we are talking about. So, avasthatrayam, that means the three states of consciousness need to be analyzed to discover that I am none of the three states, I am the fourth state. The other example is there is a three shariras. Three sharira means three bodies. So everyone has three bodies. What is called sthula sharira, the gross body, the Sukshma Sarira, the subtle body, and the Karana Sarira, the causal body. So body analysis is provided to say I am not the body. So what is Sthula Sarira? Sthula Sarira is a gross body where the matter in the waking world, where there is a physical matter, and for transactions required, for bodies required to transact, and the mind and the intellect all are involved in the waking state. And that is called the Sthula Sarira is the gross body, the gross matter that I need for transacting in the world. Once I find that I have different needs that this body cannot fulfill for my next set of desires that I have to go to different loci in order to experience that, then I have to drop this body to go there, because this body cannot go there. So what happens when I go? I leave the matter here the body came from the food, sustained by the food, and goes back into the food. Therefore, the gross matter is called Annamaya Kosham. So we are talking about 5 koshas with the gross body is born out of food and sustained by food and goes back into food or become food for others. You have to leave the body here only. You cannot take anywhere. And the body is not I am, but I am, when I say, is a subtle body. Subtle body is Sukshma Sariram, where the mind and intellect along with the 5 faculties of the senses, not the senses, faculties of the senses, and the faculty of transactions with the 10 indriyas, all together, packed together, is Panchapranas, 5 physiological functions, all are together forms the Sukshma Sarira. We didn't talk about the Prakriti aspect with the Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas, but this is the essence of it. For more details, one can look into the Vidyaranya Swami Panchadasi's first chapter, which we have taken. So if you go to YouTube and ask for Acharya Sadaji, and under Panchadasi first chapter, the Viveka Prakarana, all this is being discussed properly. All the 5 koshas and the 3 bodies. So this Sthula Sariram and then the Sukshma Sariram, the subtle body, that's what exactly in the dream world. Dream world is where subtle body, but there I create as though a gross body for transactions in the dream world. So that's why it says the same way as it says Ekona Vimsati Mukha. There is 19 gateways for transacting in the waking world as well as in the dream world. There a dream subject has his own mind, his own subtle body in the dream subject, and that also has the 5 senses of the Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, and the mind, intellect, ego, ahankara and chitta. All 19 gateways are there for him to transact in the dream world. And that all that is part of the subtle body. When I go to deep sleep state, even the subtle body is folded. So essentially, deep sleep state involved the Annamaya Kosha going into the Pranamaya, Pranamaya goes into the Manomaya, Manomaya goes into Vijnanamaya. And when you go to deep sleep state, all that goes into Anandamaya Kosha, and that is nothing but Karana Sharira, causal state. Because only vasanas are there expressing itself. And vasana is expressing itself as I don't know, the ignorance only that manifests in that. There is no vikshepa, there is no projection of plurality there, only avarana, constant absence of any subject-object duality. So we have waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. We have subtle body, we have gross body, subtle body, and the causal body, Karana Sarira. And these 3 bodies are there. And when I go to deep sleep state, I folded the whole thing into Vijnanamaya, and that becomes Anandamaya Kosha. And that in a subtlest form is what is called Anandamaya Kosha. And that is called Laya. Laya means the sleep of an individual being. When we talk about the whole universe, when it goes to sleep, as though Brahmaji goes to sleep, that's called Pralaya. Pralaya means that which is the total sleep of all beings. So everybody goes into the subtlest state of Brahmaji, where Brahmaji has to go to sleep, and then when he gets up, again projected the whole world again, based on previous only. When I get up from my sleep, I have the same body and same chemistry knowledge, same ignorance of everything else. I come up with all that only. Nothing has happened, as though I am relaxed and coming back. That's called a laya at the individual level, and at the global level it's called pralaya. So we have 3 states of consciousness. We have 3 bodies: the Sthula Sariram, Sukshma Sariram, and Karana Sariram. The gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. And we have 5 koshas, pancha kosha, where I have annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandam, the manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, and anandamaya kosha. So at waking state, I am identifying myself, I am this body. That means I am identifying, I am this annamaya kosha. When I am functioning in I am able to breathe, I am doing digesting, or I am having all the physiological functions. When I identify with the pranas, they say I have to control my breath. Who is controlling? I am. So I am identifying with the pranamaya and called pranamaya kosha. So in the Taittiriya Upanishad, it talks about, says, I am at this level identifying with the annamaya kosha, and then I leave that and identify I am the pranamaya kosha, then prana, that's what is the Brahman is. Then I drop that, go to what is the highest one. Like that, step by step, it illustrates what's called, right now I am identifying with that, but drop the identification, go to the higher level, drop the identification of that and go to higher level, where each one is dropped. Ultimately, highest one is that which cannot be dropped anymore. And this is called essentially adhyaropa apavada. So that means temporarily accept that this is my state, and then drop that and identify I am higher, and so on and so forth until I arrive. This is a methodology that is in the scriptures that is provided as one way of doing it. We have a avastatrayam, that is the analysis of three states of consciousness. We have the three body analysis, the sthula, sukshma, and the karana sharira, and the pancha kosha viveka. That means I am not any of the koshas. Kosha is as though I am taking that as I am, and that becomes a bondage. So when I say I am the body, then body problems become my problems. When I say I am pranas, five pranas, pranama, vyana, udana, samana, all those physiological functions, and if they have problem, they say I have a problem. I have a problem of breathing, I have a problem of digestion, I have a problem of excretion. All those problems of the physiological functions identified, I am having a problem. And if the problems can be solved, then I am not having a problem. Problems come and problems go, but I am independent of the problems. If I have problems really, then it will never leave me. So that's not my nature, it's only superimposed things. So I take medicine and get rid of that. So that which comes and goes is not mine. It comes and goes. So we have to keep, whatever has to be done, but identification will cause me a lot more problems. Is what am I going to do? I am suffer depression, all those things, because of strong identification with the body, mind, or intellect, or their properties. So in self-realization involves rejecting I am not that, I am not that. I am not a waker, I am not a dreamer, I am not a displacer. Neti neti. Neti means not this, not this, not this. Because that which comes and goes is not really real. So what is that which is real? That doesn't come and go. So only thing real in this universe is I am, because waking world came, along with the waking world, the waking world creator also came, the God also created. When the waking world disappears, the creator also is not there, because the creator himself became the creation. Then dream world came. So dream God came, and the dream world and the dream subject and all that. When the dream world is gone, then what? That's also gone. The creator of the dream world is also gone. Then who is there? In the deep sleep state. In deep sleep state, I am there, but the state of ignorance is there. So that is not even that state. So who am I? Is I am independent of any states and any situations, because I am the only one that remains in all three states. And that alone which remains all the time is the Satyam, is the reality. Anything else is unreal. So, but I don't see it. Adrushtam, it cannot be seen, because the seer himself is the one. Seer cannot be seen. But intellectually one can say, yes, I am the seer. How this subtle analysis has to be done is what we are going to talk from now on. So up to this, we have the whole background is given in terms of the analysis of self-realization. So from now on, in the next talk, it becomes important for those who have listened to this, who have trained their mind and understood what has been. For them, I am going to give a methodology of how to see that I am as I am without any objectification. So in there we will understand what is objectless awareness. Is the mind required or not? All these questions that we analyze have to be applied in the realization of self. So how exactly is the realization? And what are the obstacles in this realization? So even though I try to understand that and try to contemplate on that, what exactly meditation or Vedantic meditation, all this becomes clear. But if I try to do it, I'm not able to hold on to that because something is pulling me. Those are called obstacles for self-realization. I understood the whole process, but I'm not able to hold on that Aham Brahmasmi. A lot of people have that complaint. So how and what are the problems and how do you solve those problems? All that will be the topic of this discussion from now on. With this, we'll stop, and from next talk on, we'll be doing essentially the methodology of self-realization, how to realize the self. And then we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.